So we are in the home stretch. This is it. One more week. On Monday, we will see AH rest her case, and then we will go into rebuttals. And then I believe Friday, we'll have closing statements, 2 hours to each side. And then that's it. Then we wait for a verdict. We wait for a verdict, and then we're going to finally see somewhat of a conclusion to this situation that has been years in the making. But I want to let you know, regardless of how this turns out, JD has effectively become uncanceled. Despite how much the media and her PR team, AH's PR team, has been trying to spin this, and we're going to go over that before we get to the main topic. I wanted to show you this, though. This hit yesterday. A woman's charity has thrown support in with JD, which I thought was pretty cool. You can kind of see where most people are throwing their support, and I think that that's awesome. A lot of the things that AH has put out there over the years has been effectively deconstructed and exposed throughout this trial, and it's turning a lot of support over to JD, as much as her PR team has been trying to spin it. You've got Vox throwing their hat in the ring. Why the Depp head trial is so much worse than you realize. It's a new playbook. I'm not going to read this article because it's ridiculous, but you have to wonder, like, the PR team that she hired, like, they're going all in and throwing all the cards. So now all of his supporters, including the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of women that are on Team JD, are being smeared. It's almost like they're not even being mentioned. Like, most of these articles talk about men. And it's like, have you seen on social media the support that is going his way? It's mostly women. The majority of it is women. I've seen it alone on my end through my channel because it shows me demographics and the amount of females that have subscribed to my channel during this case. I've never seen such a spike. I mean, this is, I've talked about a lot of comic books and stuff like that. Women aren't really into that. But when it comes to this, they very much are curious to what's going on. I don't think you can ignore that, but they definitely want to try and ignore it. They're even going after the Daily Wire, who have been using this to promote their site, putting ads that reflect on the trial and saying, oh, well, they're only supporting JD. Okay. All right. I mean, what is there to support? What does it matter? Do they have to support AH? Like, this is just weird propaganda that they're putting out there. And I got to tell you, doing this is a mistake because the public is turning on these websites because of this. I've seen outlets calling fans of JD racist because they support him, which is ridiculous. What does this trial have to do with that? What does this trial have to do with anything like that? It's ridiculous. Like, this really shows, like, Vice and Fox, they look foolish. Like, look at this. Now they're saying that his fans are verbally abusing AH because of how she leaves the trial, because they boo her. Like, they use this. This is their key evidence here. And it's her leaving the courthouse, and they boo her and say, where's the money? Which, I mean, where is the money? Where's the money that you donated to the ACLU? You kept it, you kept the money. Oh, she pledged the money, though. Money's pledged. Why aren't these articles talking about that? They sure are quick to try to defend all of the BS that she's spewed over the past couple of years. You would think that would get a little bit of attention, but no. You see none of it. So the main topic here is this. So next week, it's expected that AH is going to call JD back to the stand. And a lot of these outlets are reporting that, from experts here, that this is a dangerous move. And I have to agree. You putting him back on the stand could really backfire. And the reason I say that is because his testimony compared to hers was believable, likable, seemed honest. And this isn't just from me. This is from people that were interviewed, and this is from experts. They're saying maybe don't call him back because now you're going to give him more time. And they seem to think, oh, well, we can catch him. Like, no, I don't think so. He's been very consistent. Unlike her over the past couple of years, his stories have stayed the same. They haven't changed constantly. They've stayed pretty on point for the past couple of years. And I really doubt that Elaine and Rottenborn are going to be the ones to break him. For all intents and purposes, they've come off as pretty awful, especially Elaine. She's been awful during this trial. I know, couldn't have Elon have bought better lawyers for her? These lawyers are awful. But let's see what they have to say here. AH calling JD back to the stand could be a risk, partly because of how likable he was when he testified in the former couple's bombshell defamation trial, legal experts told the Post. Sources close to AH told the Post last week that the Aquaman actress's legal team may plan to have Depp testify again as they argue her side in the ongoing courtroom battle in Virginia. But the Pirates of the Caribbean star, who has already testified for 4 days, came across as believable and likable to the jury, experts said, noting that giving him a second round on the stand might hurt AH's case. There is a risk that he is going to have more time being likable on the stand, said civil attorney Catherine Lizardo, when it's actually AH's time to present her case. Seattle defamation lawyer Bruce Johnson agreed. JD's apparent likability could be a problem for AH. Another one says that's a huge risk if he's a good witness and he's going to perform well again, told the Post. Johnson told the Post. Another one, a criminal defense attorney and a former California judge, said JD's very unique personality likely made him appealing to the jury the first time around. He didn't strike me as someone who is putting on an act or fabricating, she said. The jury is going to want to know whether they can rely on testimony not based on how smart the witness appears, but how sincere they are. Just full of this. People, like person after person here saying, this is a bad idea. Don't bring him back. Like this whole article is full of like legal experts saying, you can go, if you want to read the whole article, I'd suggest you check it out. Just search this headline right here to pop right up. But when people ask, like, why don't I link them? It's because YouTube's really weird about links, and it's just not worth the trouble. I mean, you can easily Google this, and nobody gets in trouble with links. But, I mean, they all bring up a fair point. Like, why would you do this? Like, he was very likable on the stand and came off as very sincere. And I really don't think that Elaine and Rottenborn are going to be the ones to trip him up. They already tried, and it didn't work. If anything, there were a lot of memes that came out of it, and Rottenborn looked awful. Here's the reasons that they say right here that they might do this. He did reasonably well in his first appearance on the stand, so I guess they feel they have to necessarily attack his credibility. It might be his memory, his truthfulness, or covering something that hasn't been covered. They might be able to catch Depp off guard with their questions, so they will likely have new topics and new areas to cover, including topics they weren't allowed to quiz him on around the first time. But the more time JD has on the stand, the more opportunity he has to slip up and contradict something he said previously. The experts all agreed. And I really don't think that's going to happen because he's been so consistent. And that's the only benefit to bringing him back on is maybe they can get him to slip up. And I just don't think that's going to happen because of the fact, like I said, that he's been so consistent. So we'll see. I really don't think that it's a good idea for her team, but, I'm all for them making mistakes. So bring him back on. Bring him back on. Let's let people make more memes from the time he was on the stand, making her lawyers look awful, because that's all that's going to come from it. So, anyway, Monday should be a big day. We're getting near the end of this thing. We're finally in the end game, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think. How do you think the trial's going? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about them bringing him back on the stand? What are your thoughts on that? Also, if you would please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, make sure to follow me over on Twitch. I do watch parties, play video games over there. They're always fun. Follow me over there and come hang out. Also, make sure you subscribe to YellowFlash, my other channel. There's a link to that in the description as well. I do a lot of live streams over there that I don't do on this channel. Usually smaller and a little bit more personal. So make sure you follow me over there and sign up.